What's up, everybody? It's your girl Barbie J here with the recap and review of Tyler Perry's Netflix drama Beauty in Black, Season 1, Episode 12, Hot Seat. And the synopsis for this episode reads, Jules and his men search for Kimmy, Angel plays a precarious game to stay alive, and Varney finds himself in the crosshairs of another Bellary scandal. And Lord Jesus, he sure does. So now, before we get started, if you are new here or if you're returning here and have not subscribed as of yet, please take a moment right now, hit that subscribe button, then hit the notification bell and select all. It'll let you know every time I upload any new content to this channel. Then I ask that you hit that like button, which is the thumbs up button, write a comment and join the conversation, and share the video because sharing is caring and you want to help assist this channel grow. So, as I said in another video, I noticed that at least 50% of you come back here but yet have not subscribed to this channel. Is there something holding you back? Can you please talk to me and help my channel grow? Can you hit that subscribe button? It costs you nothing. You don't have to give blood or give money or give away your firstborn child. But can you help my channel grow? Because from what I'm reading in the numbers, it's more than 50% of you come back but haven't subscribed. So if you can help my channel, I would really appreciate it. Thank you very kindly. So now this episode starts off with Kimmy. She got on this hoodie and black clothes and she sneaks into Delinda's house, which is covered with police tape. And I don't know why all the lights aren't in the house. And she's digging in drawers trying to find any information she can of where maybe Delinda has her sister. I guess she's hoping to find some kind of paperwork or documents. Then she hears dogs barking and she hides behind the couch. And in comes Alex and Traxton. And they're looking around the house like, damn, Kimmy did all of this. And they like, yeah. And Alex is like, I told Delinda not to take her sister. That wasn't a good thing to do. And Traxton said, well, now she knows. I said, word up. If you don't know, now you know. That's it. So Alex is like, we got to find something for Jules. And he's like, we can't find anything. Our men already been here. Because remember, they actually are police officers themselves. But I guess they be doing this side gig with Jules or the Bellarys or whoever. But anyway, then the phone rings and it's Jules asking, what did they find? And it's like, it's a mess in here. We ain't find nothing. And then he asked them about Angel. And they like, well, he was wearing a scrambler. So they said, what you think that was about? And he said, I really don't know. They don't know. He said, yeah, because he know Horace would kill him. And I said, how is Angel wearing a scrambler? How would he know to wear that he was going to get snatched up or something? That kind of didn't make sense to me. I don't know. So anyway, they hang up and leave. And they not even gone a whole minute. And Kimmy's getting up and sneaking out. I said, girl, let them drive off before you jump up with all the house is all lit up. They could see your body going by the curtains and everything. You know what I mean? But she left. Then we see Angel talking to Horace. They still in that little abandoned like parking garage or something like that. And Angel actually told him everything, I guess. And he said it was his fault and he got them all caught up. So Horace asked him, if he asks Rain, will she tell the same thing? And he said, no, she's one of those ride or die chicks. She ain't going to tell you everything. He said, so you just a little biatch that just spills everything. He said, yo, man, you was going to kill me. So he's like, y'all could have had a good thing, but you had to mess it up. You tried to rob me. He said, no, man, I'm sorry. We just wanted a better life. I got a kid and everything. He said, we just wanted to pay them off and get out. Me, Kimmy, and Rain. So he thought about that. I know Horace thought about that. So he said, such a pretty face to kill. And he said, oh, come on, please. And then Horace just walks away and Angel's looking side to side and he starts running while he's handcuffed behind his back. He cut out. So now we have Varney stopping by Charles's house to let him know what happened with Mallory and how Roy is accusing him of sleeping with his wife. And Charles is looking at him like he believes it, that he was sleeping with her and that he would do anything to move up the ladder. He's like, are you really saying this to me? He said, yeah, I am. And he said, now you could leave. He was like, but he's like, why are you here? He said, because I needed to tell you that. He said, okay, now I'm in the middle of effing something in the room, so I need you to go. And he said, who's in there? He said, just listen. He said, well, I'm not leaving. He said, well, then enjoy it. And he went back there and he heard him having sex with another man back there. And Varney was pissed. So now we see Kimmy call herself sneaking into her hotel room. Tell me why she didn't have her hoodie on then. She got her hair out so everybody sees she's a female. Her hair's bouncing around. If you're trying to sneak back into your hotel room, keep the hoodie on like you did before. So she gets inside, start packing up her stuff, and she hears something at the door. She peeking through the blinds. Lights are on like nobody could see you. And she opened the door, and it was Angel. He tells her to take the cuffs off. He had a key in the bag. She tells him she's going. She got to find her sister. He said, you know where she at? No. He said, where you going? And next thing you hear, bang, bang, bang on the door. It's Jules. She's going to hide in the closet. He said, no, hide under the bed or something. And so he opens the door for Jules, and Jules walks in all slow and stuff, looking around, asking where's Kimmy at. He's like, I don't know. Jules don't believe him and hits him in the neck or something like that. And Angel's choking, and Jules looked in the closet and then looked in the bathroom, and he said, where is she? Under the bed? And then he pulled out the gun, pew, 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 two shots in each bed, 2 or 3 shots. And then Angel's looking there. He is terrible. He is a terrible liar. So Jules asked him why the old man want him. And he said, well, I lifted his watch when off the elevator when I was visiting somebody in Sacred Heart. He said, that's a nice hospital. He said, who was you visiting? He said, I was really going to lift stuff off of people or something like that, he said. And Jules is like, really? And he said, if you don't mind, he said, I got to get dressed and get you paid. I got to get to the club. And he said, yeah, you do that. And he left while Angel still coughing and from that chop that Jules did to his neck. And soon as he leaves out the door, Angel runs over to the window, is peeking through the blinds as if he got the lights out in the hotel room. Like Jules can't see him peeking through the blinds, you know what I mean? So Angel then goes over to the wardrobe cabinet and gets Kimmy out. And she tells him she gotta go. Then her phone rings and it's Rain. She's upset because Kimmy didn't come to the hospital as promised that night. And Kimmy tells her that she pushed Roy out of the window. And Rain is like, I got to get out of this hospital. I can't leave you out there alone. And Kimmy tells her she needs to stay. And then all of a sudden, Horace comes into Rain's room and he asks her how she's doing. And she says she's okay. Who were you? And he said, I'm the person that had you moved into this hospital because Kimmy said you were in a little bit of trouble. And she's like, oh. So she started pretending that Kimmy was somebody named John, telling him he doesn't have to call her back. And Kimmy's like, I know Horace's voice. I know that's him. Leave me on the phone. I want to hear what he's saying. I want to leave him. Leave me on the phone. And so Rain put the phone down and Horace starts talking to her about the blood clots and stuff and about death and because he said you act a little skeptical, and Rain just had this funky attitude. And to me, if somebody, I know you don't know him, but if you know that's the man who saved you and put you in a better hospital, I think you should be a little bit warmer, nicer, or something like that. I don't care how skeptical you are. People spent money to put you in a good damn hospital. Act thankful and grateful. So he starts talking about pain and death and stuff. And she said, okay, sir, thank you for coming, but I got to get some rest. He said, in peace. And she reaches over and start pressing the button. And he said, nobody's going to come. Because, see, she don't realize he owns that wing of the hospital. Hello. And she's like, you better just kill me now because I ain't telling you ish. He said, it's funny when people start talking and telling you when they feel some pain. And he started pushing his walking stick into her area of her butt where she was in pain and stuff. And she's like, oh. And then Kimmy hears it and she's feeling bad, but then her battery died. Instead of her charging her phone, she rushes out of the hotel room. She only looks one way. She steps out and there's traction right there. And she starts trying to run and he grabbed her and then threw her in his car and called Jules. And he asked, where was she? He said at the hotel. He said, she's stupid as F. And I said the same thing. But anyway, he said, put her on the phone. And he told her, you killed Body and Delinda. She acting like she don't know what she's talking about. She said, look, I just want my sister. He said, you know what? Maybe your sister could pay me back what you owe. She said, my sister don't have nothing to do with it. Don't do that. Don't do that. Because first he acted like he didn't know about what sister. Now he knows what sister. Jules is such a liar. I don't even like Jules. And so he told Traxon to bring her to him. And she's like, cool. He said, oh, you big and bad and tough now. He said, okay. So now we see Charles. He's calling Mallory from his bathroom while watching his lover in the shower. And he tells her he wants to hang out. Let's go to the strip club. She said, I can't be seen in no strip club and end up on some blog. He said, but he needs to talk to her about all the drama that's going on. She's like, okay, well, meet me at Stein and Stag. She said, you got 40 minutes. So he's like, fine. Then she calls Jillian and tells her to get her stuff. She's going to be leaving soon and make her reservations for Stein and Stag for two. And Jillian's like, yes, ma'am. And then she comes out and she sees Calvin standing and said, oh, you done pissed her off, huh? She wants me to go with her tonight. And so I said, what are you doing? What are you trying? Jillian is so immature and she's like trying to rub something in his face. And I don't know what it is about her voice, but I really don't like it. And then I don't even know the reason for this scene. Calvin's like, whatever, bye. Meanwhile, back at Charles's house, he walks the guy out past Varney, who's sitting on the couch and stuff. And then he comes back to the couch, and Varney is like pissed. Like, I came to you for help. You know how important your family's business is to me. He said, yeah, important enough to F my sister-in-law. And he said, you know that's not true. That's not true. It's a lie. And he was like, whatever. And he's like, do you know when I thought you was dead, I almost lost my mind. I was losing it, which he was. We all saw it. And he said, oh, get out of here, Barney. He said, don't nobody in here give a F about anybody else. He said, you really feel that way? He said, yeah, I do. And I'm like, Barney, how are you in love with this? It makes me question who you are, Varney. You this intelligent attorney, and you want to mess with this guy, and you mad at the guy Charles talking about he want to f just anybody all day, all night, and he's like, yep. Charles don't care. So he told Varney he could leave and sleep with his sister. And he said, so you're going to continue to make this bad for me? He said, I am not sleeping with her. He said, whatever, even if you're not. So what? He said, you don't mind having sex with me, but you don't want to tell my family. He said, I'll go and tell your parents right now. I'll let them know right now. He said, yeah, go ahead, do it. He said, no, if I do this, you and I are in a committed relationship. And I said, that makes sense. Well, I'm going to tell them that and out myself. And then you up here sleeping around with every Tom, Dick, and Harry. So he said, we are in a committed relationship. And Charles is like pulling on his neck and stuff and everything. He like, I ain't ready for that. He said, see, you ain't ready for that. So Varney said, I don't want to do this here with you. I don't want to do this. He said, then you could leave. He said, see, there you go again. He said, you said you don't want to be here. He said, I don't want to do this, meaning he didn't want to argue with him. So he was like, you know what, Varney, you could go now. And Varney was like, fine. And he got up and left. So now we have Angel showing up to the strip club. And when he walks in the door, Alex is there. And he's like, what are you doing here? He said, where's Delinda? He said, I don't know, but they said you know what to do, so go on back there to the room and get ready. But the truth is, Alex does know what happened to Delinda. He knows Delinda is dead. I guess they don't want everybody in the club to know that. So Angel gets into the men's locker room, and this chick with the red hair come back there. Where that biatch at? And Angel's like, who? You know that biatch, you be with her all the time. He's like, I don't know what you're talking about, but we know she's talking about Kimmy. And she said, yes, you do. And he said, get the F out of here, because she's in the men's locker room. And she's like, whatever, and left. And then this other guy comes up to him and tells Angel on DL that he was following behind the guy who stole the Charles's keys and with the yellow Lambo. And he said, I was found behind him, and then bullets popped off and was shooting, then the car caught on fire. And he's like, word? And he's like, yeah. He said, did you try to get him out? He said, no, I got out of there. He said, you messed up. He's like, nah, I got to get out of there. He said, but I got his address and we could go there and get that money. You know, he got money in the house. And Angel's like, nah, I ain't trying to do that. He said, come on. He said, no, you left me hanging on the last job. Forget it. I don't want to have nothing to do with that. So now Mallory makes it to Stein and Stag, and Charles is already there waiting for her. And he's like, hey, sister-in-law, have a drink. And he's sitting there already drinking and getting toasted and stuff. And she's like, okay, so what's this all about? Why are we meeting? And he's like, wow, right to business. He's like, I wanted to ask you about Attorney Varney. She said, okay, what about him? What's going on? She said, what are you talking about? He said, Roy said, she said, oh, brother, I hope your brother ain't telling you no mess. You know your brother how he is. He's a liar. It's not true, whatever it is. And I hope he's not telling your father that. He said, well, then why would he say that? She said, because you know how your brother is. Come on. And stuff. And he's trying to ask questions. She said, look, I'm leaving. You know, if this is what you're here for. She said, because it seemed like you only want to talk about Attorney Varney. And not even that. She said, why are you getting so hyped about it? I'm not getting hyped. I just wanted to know. She said, no, I'm not doing this with you. I'm going home and I'm leaving. He said, you're not even going to drink your drink? No, I'm not going to drink that drink. It's cheap and it's burning my throat. I said, oh, snap. So while they're talking, Jillian and Calvin are going back and forth with stuff. And she's saying, I don't know why I got involved with you. And she said, I don't know how I fell for it. He said, because you're easy like that. It was easy to do that to you and all this stuff. They were back and forth. They were getting on my last damn nerve. I don't understand them two at all. If y'all understand them, put it down in the comment section for me, please. Thank you. And so the episode ends with Kimmy and Traxon. They in the car. He's taking her to see Jules. And she's trying to talk to him. You know where my sister at? I don't know where your sister at. You got caught up with Jules too. Now I ain't caught up with you. How much money you make? She trying to ask all these questions. And he's like, what are you doing? He said, I know what you're trying to do. I don't know where your sister at. I don't know none of that. So all of a sudden, Kimmy stopped putting on her seatbelt. He said, I don't know what you plan on doing, but it'd be a stupid move to do. And she was like, what are you talking about? I'm just being safe. And he's like, what do you think you're going to do? Take the steering wheel? If you do that, we both going to die. And she's like, what are you talking about? Next thing she's spraying him with mace in his eyes or whatever. And she's pulling the steering wheel and turned the car, and the car flipped over and stuff and slid over to an edge, and it's like hanging halfway off of some type of bridge or elevated highway or something like that. And it went off just like that. So y'all let me know what y'all thought about this episode. Once again, I thought it was very entertaining. I will see you all in the next video. Please do not forget to subscribe, like, comment, and share. And please don't forget, I need your help and your support. For those of you who are returning and haven't subscribed, please subscribe today. Peace.